So, firstly, congratulations for
Thank you.
organizing this event. One of the first questions is, what according to you is the most pressing difficulty in dispensing the legal aid, as you stressed just now in your speech, that there is difference between dispensing and facilitating legal aid. So, as per you, what is the most pressing difficulty that you envision in this process?
See, there are two basic difficulties. Number one is that most of the population who deserve legal aid, going by the parameters which are laid down in the legislation, are not even aware that they are entitled to such legal aid.
Right.
Maybe lack of knowledge, maybe lack of experience, maybe lack of sort of exposure to the entire setup. So therefore, that awareness is one thing that we wanted to address, and therefore that 42-day campaign which we initiated was aimed at taking care of this awareness issue. So awareness, once we have got into that mode, that awareness is something that very well we have now told the entire population that there is a setup called legal aid services, which where they can avail the benefit. The next level is that the legal aid dispensation has to be of good quality. Legal aid will be dispensed by the lawyers. So the lawyers, those who are engaged in the setup, that the legal aid services, they must be theoretically of greater potential. Their output must also be of equally good standard, and the kind of work which is done should be done not just for sort of the for naam ke vaste, but
Yeah.
it must be as a mission. If you inculcate that habit, inculcate that spirit, then the legal aid dispensation would have achieved everything. So what happens is there are many a miss between the cup and the lip. So therefore, that's where we need to bridge the gap.
Right.
So our vision is to take care of number one, outreach programs, awareness, at the same time making things available in the form of, say, for instance, you have a setup in a district, which may be a remote district. That remote district must have the facility of e-library where the lawyers are entitled and can have the assistance of all the law reports, the latest kind of judgments which are rendered on the point. They must be available at the tip of the finger and maybe at the click of the mouse. So therefore, once you make these things available, then what is called the infrastructure must be assured, and then comes the talent. The talent must be of also a good dimension and good quality. Once you do that, then perhaps I think the true idea of legal aid will get transmitted everywhere. And the reason why what I said in today's speech was that if 70% population is below poverty line, then theoretically we must have the entire 70% population litigation coming from that population under the belt of legal services.
Right.
But we do not have that. We have barely about 18%. Why is it so? So therefore, that confidence has to be built so that the gap between 18 and 70% will then thereafter be completely bridged, and the entire those set of citizens who are entitled to legal aid will be under the apparatus of legal aid services. That's the idea.
So, when we speak of legal aid, or assisting the accused in such cases, what we often encounter is, a lawyer who is arguing in the court but not very passionate about the cause, because obviously due to the lack of monetary benefits that is involved in this entire process for the lawyer who is acting as the legal aid. Do you think there is?
That is why, see, one idea is that there must be people with that kind of vision, that kind of spirit, who must be interested to work.
Right.
But then large number of advocates who have that spirit, who share that idea, must come forward. At times people don't come forward. Now, in legal profession, normally what happens is that the youngsters at the initial stage do not have enough exposure. They are aiming for that exposure, which will give them experience, so that experience come to their rescue, come in sort of counts when they want to rise in profession. So therefore, tap such young talent who are aspiring to have enough exposure, enough experience. They have the talent, so therefore they'll give you talent, you give them exposure or experience. And in the bargain, the legal aid committee or the services will stand to prosper.
So, what, according to you, my last question is, when we talk of reaching every nook and corner of this country, when is the time that you envision that will be no need to hold such conferences anymore, and you will be able to have such
This
permanent
conference
centers?
is only between the
District, yes,
so this is only to galvanize them into action.
right.
What happens is constant kind of interface and interaction amongst each other. That also teaches, also has elements of good learning amongst others. So therefore, that's where it stands.
Right. Thank you so much for speaking
Thank
to us, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell icon.